The reason you still feel completely stuck and in love with this guy is because of hope. You're not actually attracted to him, but you are attached to who you hope he could be. Perhaps even the man that he showed you he was, but it's all a complete facade. Hope in this case is an interesting strategy that abusive men use to keep you hooked, keep you stuck, keep you confused, and keep you guessing. In fact, there's a Nietzsche quote that I absolutely love. Not that I would normally quote a man. However, hope in reality is the worst of all evils because it prolongs the torments of man. And honestly, that's exactly what this is. It just prolongs you being in this relationship. It prolongs you staying, thinking, trying to figure it out, trying to understand him. So today, I want to take a hammer to the hope, smash it, and give you something you can actually hold on to. My name is Lisa Sonni. I'm a certified relationship coach. I'm an author, and I help women break free of these abusive relationships, exit, escape, heal, rebuild, and just put the pieces of your life back together. So hit subscribe for more content like this. I expose abuse tactics and I help you rebuild. So in actual practice, hope in these relationships looks like you keep trying to use different words to make him understand, to hold him accountable. You hope that he will actually change. You hope that he'll finally click and you'll use the right words or someone will say the right thing and it'll all make sense. And he'll go,
"Oh, look at that. I'm abusive. You're right. I need to change."
This almost never happens in these relationships. And we're going to talk about when it does, when they do say that. I know that what happens here is these guys reset the hope. They do something nice. And then you think, oh, look, there's the guy. That's the guy that's so nice to me sometimes. That's the guy that I fell in love with. I want more of that. And in all this, we're just holding on to these moments that feel real. But what we're not looking at is the pattern, because that's really what's going on here. Abuse is a pattern of behavior. And at the root of this, there is a version of him that you believe is worth waiting for, is worth hoping for. So it makes sense that we stay because we're hoping so much that it's finally going to clue in. One of the kind of interesting things here is that we keep waiting for someone to understand, but I want to offer you a really different perspective, and it shouldn't be astounding, but here we are. While you're sitting here waiting for him to understand, might I offer you that he already does understand? That's something that we just kind of don't clue into because I know that they're really good at playing dumb and playing the victim and pretending they just don't get it, but they absolutely get it. What would change for you if you knew that he already understands exactly what he's doing and that this whole confusion thing is actually just a strategy? Hope is the strategy. And this is exactly how he keeps that hope alive. He's using hope to keep you stuck. You're trying to fix the relationship because you hope that it'll be better one day. And he promises that it'll be better, right? Some of these guys actually very much promise change. I'll go to therapy. I'll be nicer to you. I'll spend more time with you. I'll stop calling you names. Hope makes this pain that he puts you through feel temporary. So we hold on to it so tightly. And I want you to let it go. I know that this really feels like you're making a decision, right? You're waiting to sort of assess. You're waiting to see, is he going to change? Will he do the things that he says? Will this make sense one day? We just keep trying. I'm telling you, hope is your downfall. It truly keeps you invested in something that just is not changing at all. Now, the truth is, he's created this on purpose, right? We like to pretend that they don't understand what they're doing. But here's the thing. This is his strategy. He is giving you just enough to keep you believing what he's saying, believing that this relationship is actually going to get better. And he uses little moments of kindness to actually reset the hope. Because every time you feel so clear and you're like, no, he's abusive. I've watched all these videos. I completely know he's a narcissist and he's never going to change. You're also kind of like, but maybe that's not true. Maybe he'll change because then he does something nice. Then he does something neutral or promises you something. He future fakes you. These guys are absolutely incredible at getting you back in the relationship. They're con men. So every time he resets your tolerance, he's actually also conditioning you to just tolerate more and more or worse and worse. Because here's the thing, right? When he's giving you this kind of hot and cold push and pull and you feel confused, you're searching for answers. You're trying to figure out, why is he doing this? Why does he behave this way? Why does he do that? Which, as an aside, Lundy Bancroft's book, Why Does He Do That?, gives you the answer. To control you, because he can. It's really that simple. We like to think that it's trauma or his mom or his ex or a bad day or it's your fault. Because even as crazy as that sounds, thinking that it might be your fault, what's actually really safe about thinking that it's you is that if it's you, you can control it, you can change it, you can do something about it. But if he's just choosing to be abusive, what are you supposed to do with that information? You have to make a decision now, right? If he's abusive, you have to leave. If he's abusive, what are you doing here? If he can't change, what are you waiting for? So it makes us just keep telling ourselves something that is honestly just a little bit softer to believe, that it's not that bad, that he just needs therapy, that there's something someone can say or do that'll make it all make sense to him. And then you'll get the good guy back and everything will be fine from there on. But you see this pattern, right? Maybe he'll be better. Maybe he'll change. Maybe he'll understand. You're living in maybe world instead of reality. Now, let's really kind of get into depth here with these two types of men that I'm talking about, right? Because we always talk about how they promise change. There's a whole second type. But the guy that promises change knows exactly what he's doing. And that's how he keeps the hope going, right? Promising that things will be better, promising that he'll go to therapy, that he'll learn something. And listen, again, promising therapy, sure, whatever. You keep hearing all these people online say narcissists never go to therapy. That might have been true a long time ago before therapy was cool. Now, are you kidding me? Narcissists will absolutely go to therapy and they'll use therapy language against you. They're going to come home and say, my therapist actually thinks that you're the problem. My therapist thinks you're creating all of these issues. You know what she said? You know what he said? They're just going to make things up. They think it's you. Of course they do. Two things. Number one, a therapist would never actually say, hey, you know what? It's your partner, because that's not how therapy actually works. But even if a therapist implied that perhaps the partner is the issue, you got to look at the framing, right? You're not sitting in the room. You don't know what he's saying to the therapist. Undoubtedly, he's positioning it like there's nothing wrong with him and you're just flying off the handle. An actual therapist would need more information. They would need context to make an assertion like that. But a guy like this, he's going to future fake. He'll apologize. Now, it's not going to be a real apology, right? It's one of those kind of like, I'm sorry you feel that way kind of apologies. But even the ones that kind of sound authentic, like, I know, I'm so bad to you. I know, I have so much to work on, but then proceeds to not work on it. So again, it's just a game that they're playing. It's a facade. It's a little routine that they have to do for you sometimes to keep you attached to the hope. You stay because you want the version of him that he describes himself as, and certainly the version that he pretended to be in the beginning. And I mean, probably the guy that you little sprinkle in throughout the relationship and you see this guy pop in and out every so often. A man like this, his behavior will never match his words. So he's keeping you addicted to the hope by making promises. But there's the other guy who makes absolutely no promises at all and just says that it's all your fault. You're making this up. You're too sensitive. He doesn't have to change. You have to change. You're the one with the problem. It's not him. No way. This guy is really good at Darvo, blame shifting, minimizing, dismissing, invalidating, probably stonewalling you, ignoring you, those kind of things. This is the I've never had these problems with anyone except you kind of guy. And yet, you still hope that he'll understand. Because what's happening here is he's invalidating you. He's confusing you. I mean, fundamentally, this is gaslighting. He's telling you that your reality just is completely whacked. So what you're doing then is hoping that something or someone will eventually say something that will make it all click for him. So one guy is promising you something and that keeps the hope alive. And one guy is just dismissing and denying and pretending that there's no problem with him at all. But that still gives you hope because you hope that he'll get it. That one day he's finally going to go, you know what? I think it might be me. You're right. It's both of us. You're right. I do have issues to work on, even though there's really no hope for that at all. You are waiting for this awareness that is never actually going to happen because he already knows that his behavior is bad. He just feels justified in it because he's superior and entitled. And this is one of the traps because now you're investing more time, more energy. You're changing your own behavior. You're changing how you talk, when you talk. You're always waiting for the good version of him. And I'm telling you, when you get that good version, because these relationships always have kindness and cruelty, so you're always going to have good moments in these relationships, you feel like, relief. Oh, there we go. And that resets the hope. Your life is just completely on hold while you wait for this thing, this man, and it's never going to happen. And hope, what it does to you, right? You're constantly thinking about him and ruminating and trying to figure it out. You're on YouTube watching videos trying to figure out why he does what he does. How can you help him? What kind of therapy would work? What therapists specialize with abusive men? What therapists specialize in narcissists and treating them? And maybe you just need the right person to say the right thing at the right time. But what we know about someone who's abusive, narcissistic or not, they don't even want to change. This isn't even a capacity issue, though arguably they don't have the capacity. They don't even have the desire. Hope is a strategy. And this is exactly an example of it working. You're living in potential. You're not living in reality. And honestly, drag you into this. Let's step into reality together, shall we? You are just emotionally exhausted. So I want to give you a little bit of a reality check here. Hope is not evidence. Hope doesn't mean that change is coming. It's like wishing or praying. It doesn't mean anything specific that something's actually going to happen. The truth is, for any of these things to work, right? If you want to hope for someone, if you want to pray for someone, they also have to want it for themselves. You can't wish that someone else will change when that person has no desire to change. Where's the action? There is no action in hope. The only evidence is his behavior, and his behavior is the answer. There's no change coming. What actually breaks this, what's really going to make this change for you, is that you stop focusing on what could be and what's the potential, and you start really hyper-focusing on reality and evidence. What can you actually prove? What makes sense? What's the pattern? And I know the pattern is hot and cold, but the pattern is inconsistency. You need to actually choose evidence over potential. You have to make that conscious decision that this is hope, but there's no evidence that that's actually going to happen. So what is the evidence? That they make promises and nothing ever comes true. That they just continue to invalidate me or blame me and nothing changes. It takes you burning the fantasy of what could have been to the ground. People are always so afraid. What if he changes after we break up? What if he changes for the next girl? And I get it. I get that feeling. What if he doesn't? What if you stay and this is the rest of your life? What if you hope endlessly? What if it's 5 more years, 10 more years? What if nothing changes? If you're exhausted by all of this and you're ready to create change for yourself, I'm going to invite you to join the Trauma Bond Recovery Group Coaching Program, or you can work with me one-on-one. I teach people step by step using practical, actionable skills to actually break free of trauma bonds, let go of the hope, let go of all of the attachment, and actually rebuild, let go, and build a life that you are happy with, that you can be proud of. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this, and I'll catch you in the next video.